Hey you! You might be wondering how you got here, but don't worry. Today we'll be having some fun by taking some time out to question morality and the value of human life through the medium of trolley problems. If you don't know what the trolley problem is, go watch part 1, it's all there, but the basic premise is that you have to choose which track you send the train by pulling a lever, with different outcomes depending on the problem. Let's start with an easy one, okay? There are 4 people on track 1 and nobody on track 2. However, if you pull the lever, the train will not do a cool loop-de-loop that is on track 1. Do you pull the lever to save lives, but make life a little less cool, knowing that a train will never do a sick as hell trick and now it's all your fault? I'm going to pull the lever and then save some lives, and you might think it's because I'm a humanitarian, but actually, it's because animating a trolley to do a loop-de-loop is pretty hard. You know what? No. I'll try and learn a new skill. Let me send it down track 1 so we get a cool show. Wow, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Imagine not being able to see this from where you're currently watching from. That would be such a letdown. Our next trolley problem only has a single track and the trolley is slowly travelling down it with an infinite number of people tied to the track slowly getting killed. You have a lever that you can pull which stops the train at any point, however it will cause the train company to lose profits and shareholder value will be reduced. Do you pull the lever knowing that you will be taking money away from poor shareholders? You see me, I won't be pulling the lever, and that may or may not be influenced by the fact that I'm a large shareholder in Trolley Incorporated, but there's quite a simple fix if you have the inclination to stop the train for whatever reason. Stoic Stick Co. have designed their new morality blocking shield. It's essentially a giant black tarp that we put over the track so that you can't hear or see the people. Now isn't that much better? If we can't hear or see them, then do they really exist? That's a whole different moral quandary that we don't really have time for. Cool. So our next problem has 4 people on track 1 and nobody on track 2. There is a police officer standing near the lever. You attempt to pull the lever to divert it away from track 1, however, you did not file the required paperwork with the local government, so do not actually have your lever pulling license. For this, the police officer then arrests you and sends you to prison. Whilst in prison, you also do not have your prison license, to which the prison guards come in and fine you every 3 hours. The people on track 1 are probably dead and you are now in crippling debt, but on the bright side, bureaucrats in government have reduced permit-related crimes by a whopping 0.9% last quarter, so really, it's worth it in the end if you think about it. Trolley problem 4 doesn't actually involve a trolley, it involves a steam engine. On the track, there is 4 people tied to track 1 and nobody on track 2. Do you pull the lever? Now most will probably say yes, but if you pull the lever, the steam engine driver will call you anti-steamitic and says that he is one of the chosen people by the government to drive this train over that track. He also claims that there is a train saboteur on the track and it's his fault that the other 3 people will be killed. You protest saying that that's kind of stupid, so you pull the lever and no one gets killed by the steam engine. But that's not the end of this tale. You are then approached by the Pro-Steamification League who reach out to your employer to get you fired for being an anti-steamite, because if they don't fire you, the PSL will organise a mass train boycott on your company, effectively bankrupting it. So now you're fired, but at least you have the moral high ground knowing that you saved 4 people's lives. And as it turns out, there was no train saboteur, so in the end, you at least get to keep your conscience. Actually, no. It turns out that the PSL has ties to weapons manufacturers in the US and has ordered a Hellfire missile strike on the train tracks, killing everyone. So I guess it was all for nothing. Up next is a trolley problem that you the viewer are actually participating in. On track 1 we have 1 guy who doesn't watch my videos, and on track 2 we have 4 viewers of mine including you. Now you may see this and think, what an easy choice, he's going to send it down track 1 and save his viewers. Not so fast. That isn't just an ordinary man, that's the CEO of Trolley Incorporated, and he has kindly given me a political donation of $670,000 towards my election campaign, which does actually make me lean towards pulling the lever. However, being a fair man, I will allow you to bring up a counter offer to try and sway me to your side. Here's 5 seconds to try and convince me to not pull the lever. If you didn't say that you will like and share the video, then I'm sorry, but I'm pulling the lever, and really, you only have yourself to blame. In this trolley problem, there is only one person on track 1 and nobody on track 2. The person on track 1 isn't even tied down and is freely able to move away from the trolley at any point. However, he believes that you should pull the lever to save him because he doesn't want to act in his own self-interest. Is this an allegory for how we as a society place far too much importance on the preservation of those unwilling to help themselves? Maybe. I don't know. I make stick figure videos on YouTube. But if you had to ask me, I would not pull the lever because anyone who is willing to act self-destructively in the hopes that someone will go out of their way to save them shouldn't be saved. So I'm not pulling the lever. In fact, give me some rope and I'll tie him down to make sure that he stands by his decision. Okay, here's one that will weed the good from the bad. The trolley is a shopping cart. You can either roll it down track 1 and not do your duty as a citizen, which is to return it to the shopping cart holder, which is on track 2. There is no life at stake and you get no reward other than being a productive member of society. However, bear in mind that I may or may not be watching you through your camera and may or may not pay a homeless man to shit on your front doorstep if you decide to not return the shopping cart. I, not being a savage, will return the shopping cart not only because I'm a good member of society, but also because I jump on the back and ride it, which is actually really fun. Our next trolley problem we are actually a little early to. It turns out that you are actually the man who is tying people to the tracks. Well, kind of. Your family is tied to track 1, with your wife and 3 kids being put there as punishment for not returning the shopping cart in the last problem. The thing is, the game master will allow you to tie 4 or more people to track 2, which will allow the lever to activate and let the trolley switch to track 2. You have no control over who the person is that is pulling the lever, you can only give them extra information about who is on track 2. For example, you can say that you've tied 5 criminals to track 2 to try and convince them to kill more humans but save your family's life. Now this one's actually interesting. I want to see what the max amount of people you can tie to the tracks and what descriptions you give them, while still assuming with high confidence that the player will pull the lever. Are 5 criminals' lives worth less than the 4 innocent civilians? What about 8? 10? 1,000? Get creative in the comments and I'll reply to let you know if I'll pull the lever in your made up scenarios. Our final trolley problem is the trolliest problem to trolley all problems. And it isn't even a trolley problem, technically. Sisyphus is rolling his boulder down the track. At the end of track 1 is the Grand Hilbert Hotel, which has an infinite number of rooms and they're all occupied, but it will still have a room for Sisyphus and his boulder if he arrives. Or do you divert him to track 2, which has the ship of Theseus on the tracks? However, all the parts have been swapped out, so it may or may not be the same ship. Now the question is, do you pull the lever and divert him from the hotel to the ship or not? Well, it's actually a trick question because he wouldn't reach the destination anyway before he's rolled back down the track. The real question is Sisyphus happy? Many armchair philosophers will try to answer this question in various convoluted ways to demonstrate whether it even matters if he is happy. But my answer to that question is pretty simple. Let's just ask him. How's it going, Sisyphus? Whoa, it's just the same shit, just a different day, innit? Well, there we have it, folks. Okay, that's just about enough meta that I can handle for one evening. If you liked the video and would like to see more extreme trolley problems, consider liking and subscribing, but other than that, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.